Hello, friends. I hope you all are studying well. Welcome back to my channel. Today, I'll be talking about the skull views, the lateral one. I'll tell you which all structures are there and how to identify them in the radiographs as well. Okay. In the end, I'll be telling you what kind of questions should you expect in ORE exam. So, grab your cup of coffee, sit tight, watch till the end. So this is the lateral view of skull, which can be in which the bones they are color coded again. It is from the Netter's Atlas. So this blue bone is frontal bone. Okay, this is the parietal bone, green one. On the back, this purple bone is occipital. This pink bone is temporal. This yellow one is sphenoid. This gray bone inside, can you see that? I'll just zoom it. This gray bone is ethmoid bone. Okay, purple one is lacrimal bone. This is zygomatic bone. Green one is maxillary bone, and this is mandible bone. So these are the bones which can be viewed laterally. Now let's move ahead, dive deep into it, and let's see what all structures they are there in this bone. Okay, let's start from mandible because it's the easiest one. So you can see this is the mandible bone. Okay, this white bone is mandible. So this is the condylar process, the head of condyle. This is the condylar process. This is neck of condyle. Again, important during the trauma cases, during the fractures. This is condylar process, head of condyle. This is the coronoid process. Let's move down. Here, these are two parallel lines, and this is the ramus. Okay. Then, if we move further down, then this is the alveolar part process or alveolar part. But this bone, can you see this anterior part from the coronoid process when it descends down to the ramus and then to the body? This is the body. Here, this is angle and this is the body portion. It goes to the body, then here it is thickened because of the way in which the forces they are applied. This is called the oblique line. And then this is the body. This portion is body. This is angle. This is body. So this is the mental foramen. A mental foramen is one through which the mental nerves and vessels they come, and it is between the premolars. You'll know about this. Yeah, easiest one is done. Yeah. Let's now move ahead to the maxillary bone. So this green bone is maxillary bone. The the one which contains the teeth is the alveolar process. It contains the teeth and the root of the teeth. This protruding, anteriorly protruding spine portion is there, and this is called anterior nasal spine. Okay, we discussed it in anterior view also. This is the infraorbital foramen, which is below the orbit. So, infraorbital foramen, it passes infraorbital nerves and vessels, and it's very important. So, the one process which goes up to the frontal bone, forms the frontal process. All right. Another portion is this portion which goes and forms the root of the goes and forms the floor of the orbit, contributes to the orbit formation also. Okay, so this is the maxillary bone. So let's come here and let's see this orange bone is zygomatic bone. Okay, what is seen here is one is coming inferiorly, it is interacting with the maxillary bone. Clear? So another is it is going superiorly and it is meeting this frontal bone. Let's now do the temporal bone. This pink bone is the temporal bone. You can see it here. Okay, so anteriorly it meets with the zygomatic bone, so this forms the zygomatic process. If we move a little bit posterior to this process, articular tubercle. Okay, and then this is the articular tubercle, which we will study in TMJ. Then this is the fossa, mandibular fossa, to with which the mandible, which helps in formation of TMJ. It's there. More posteriorly is this groove, which is external acoustic meatus. Okay, so this is it. Then it is the mastoid process of the bone. Okay, then is, if we move ahead here, it made the occipital bone and superiorly to the parietal bone. Can you see this thin part, papery part of the bone? This is the squamous part of the bone. And a groove runs here like this, and this groove is for the posterior deep temporal artery. So this covers our temporal bone when seen laterally. Let's now come to the occipital bone. This purple bone is the occipital bone. Okay, sutura vernian bones, they are there, and nothing much is here. External occipital protuberance, this protuberance is called external occipital protuberance. Anteriorly were these four bones: sphenoid, frontal, parietal, and temporal. They meet, they form pterion. And posteriorly, parietal, this point, parietal, occipital, and temporal, this point where they meet is asterion. So posteriorly it's asterion and anteriorly it's pterion. You can remember it that alphabetically P comes first and then comes S. So this way you can remember. I think we have covered the lateral part of the lateral view of the bone completely. I don't think we are leaving anything. Let's now move to the radiographic view laterally. Okay, so here comes the coronal suture. All right, and this is the frontal bone. Clear? Just see carefully, this area is the frontal sinus, and here is the greater wing of sphenoid. This is the greater wing of sphenoid. Can you see this? This is sella turcica, lies pituitary gland lies. So this is sella turcica. It's very important from the Ceph point of view. When these below the sella turcica are the sphenoid sinuses. Okay, this one is maxillary sinus above in the maxillary bone. This is the eye, of course, orbit, and then here this radiopacity is here. Let me just show you one. This radiopacity, it is the palatine process of maxilla. Okay, this is the coronoid process of the mandible, which is seen laterally. Okay, can you? I'll trace it for you. It will be easier for you to visualize it. So it is. It goes like this. So this is the mandible. Okay, this is the coronoid process of mandible. This is the mandibular condyle. This is, so it is done. So let's move back now so we can see few vertebrae here. Yeah. Yes. So this one is C1 and it is the anterior arch of C1. Okay. This is dens of axis. These are the mastoid cells. Okay. Occipital bone, external occipital protuberance. So this is the auricles, lambda suture is there, and this is the parietal bone. So it is, the bones is very easy to know, but few structures, for example the one in the in this region, the cervical vertebrae region, it's difficult to know like which structure is which, and especially these, this like coronoid process, you're not able to make it out. Then this is the palatine process. So just look at it carefully again, revise this once or twice, and I'm sure you will be able to answer the things. Now comes the next thing. What type of questions should you expect in the OR exam? Questions which can come here is Number one, it can be like foramen in bones and skull. Okay. Number two is structures passing through. Okay. Which structure passes through which foramen? Number three is labeling. So for labeling, what is important for you is first how to do labeling. So first is you should know which view is being shown. Okay, which view is being shown. Next is which bone is it. Then you deduce the bone. And then what are the other foramen or other important structures, foramen or structures related to that bone. So this is these kind of questions they come. So I have done anterior and the lateral view. I will continue the inferior part of the skull, base of skull foramen, structures passing through it in the next video. The next video which I'm going to make is how to get temporary registration with GDC. I have worked with NHS. I was able to secure a post with NHS without clearing ORE. So I'll tell you how to get this temporary registration step by step, what to do, where to go, what all procedures are there, and what all documents are needed. So I'll consider everything and I'll discuss this in the next video. Then consider subscribing to this channel and click the bell button so that you are notified. And don't forget to like this video. Thank you. That's all for now. Keep watching, keep studying. Good luck, guys.